Great. So we can start sitting and sitting in any comfortable cross-legged position that you like. Tall through the spine, shoulders relaxed down and back. And I'm sitting on a cushion. That's always an option. Index fingers come to touch the thumbs. And we'll just check in on the state of our body today, noticing sensations in the physical body, the lower limbs and hips, the spine and trunk of the body, your upper limbs and shoulders, neck, scalp, and the muscles of your face. Maybe a couple of smooth, even breaths here, noticing the state of your natural breath. See if you can invite the abdomen to soften a little bit so that you can breathe using your diaphragm down into the belly. And starting with the legs in front and the hands resting on the floor behind you. We're just going to windshield wiper the hips a few times so the knees rock forward and back, internal and external rotation again. Take it slow and noticing the sensations. Usually one side is different than the other. Sometimes we're more comfortable internally or externally rotating the hips. Take a couple more breaths like this, releasing through tension. Bring ourselves up. Taking a small V, whatever kind of V position feels good to you, and I highly recommend elevating the hips again if you find that you collapse and round your lower back when you're in this position. If you are able to sit up nice and tall, that's great. If you need to bend the knees here, that's fine too. We're going to move through the spine, so reaching up and over to the right. Breathing into the ribcage. And then circle through the middle, so facing your left and your right leg, coming through the center, over to the left, and side stretch to the left. Breathing into the intercostal muscles between the ribs. And again, this smooth circular pattern moving across the center. And moving to the other side, coming into that side stretch. Last time to the left. And then coming into a tabletop position, knees underneath the hips, and the wrists relatively underneath the shoulders. As always, if your wrists are sensitive, you can try this here. Keep putting your hands in a block or something. Cat cow, inhaling the tailbone and the top of the head up towards the ceiling, exhaling and rounding the back like a Halloween cat. On your own breath, I always recommend kind of shifting your weight forward and back, taking your time, and noticing where you need movement, especially if you've just woken up today. If this is the first time in your spine, my friends. Take a few more deep breaths. And coming into a neutral spine. Tucking the toes under, hips back towards the heels, a little stretch through the arches of the feet, pressing through your hands. You control the intensity here, so the more you press, the more intense the stretch underneath the big toe and through the arch of the foot rings. Inhale, and as you exhale, the hips come up and back. Coming into downward facing dog, let your knees be bent and heels lifted, and work on the belly, moving back towards the thighs. Relax the back of your neck. And we'll put the weight in our hands today. So we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet, bending the knees, coming into a bent knee, forward bend. Let the lower back relax. Fingertips can come to the floor, or you can rest your hands on your shins or knees. And scooching the feet towards the outer edge of the mat, and you can take it wider if you need to. We're going to drop our hips down, coming into a squat. Perfectly normal for the heels to be lifted here, trying to bring our weight back and down as much as we can. You can support with your hands if you're unable to drop the hips, that's fine. Take a couple breaths in the last breath. And we'll alternate between this position and a forward bend, keeping the toes turned out the whole time. So you stretch the backs of the legs, however far that is for you, no need to force it. And then you drop the pelvis, open the chest. Moving slowly in between these two positions. Take your time. You just notice what's going on in the hips and the hamstrings. Two more times. After the last stretch, bringing the feet into a parallel position underneath the hips. We walk on our hands coming forward into the top of a push-up, a high plank. 3 breaths here, reaching the heels away from the crown of the head, dropping the knees down if you need to. And walk the feet underneath the hands. Uttasana, pelvis bend. Walk the tail, bend the knees around the spine and roll up, vertebra by vertebra. Shoulders come up, back, and down, moving through the spine. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, we bring our elbows into a cactus position, squeezing the shoulder blades down and back. Smooth, even breaths in and out through the nose. lengthening the neck. On the next inhale, the pinkies reach back and around. And then when we exhale, pressing your palms forward, rounding the upper back. In this cat spine here, you might want to bend your knees a little bit to get a little bit more freedom in the pelvis and the spine. And rock the chin from side to side to release the back of the neck. Inhale, pressing up towards the ceiling. Exhale, side bend to the right. Breathe in the side bend, lengthening through the fingertips, grounding through the left foot. And coming up through the center, opening your arms to the right side, little spinal twist. You can look straight ahead here, or you might want to turn your neck as well and look at that right thumb. Your pelvis is still relatively facing forward. Release the arms, come back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms, 3 breaths. Draw the shoulder blades down and back. The heart is lifting. Small back bend in the upper spine. Circling the arms around on the next exhale, pressing the palms forward. Cat back, rounding the upper spine. Adding the neck movement if that feels good to you. Drawing a little half circle in the chest with your chin. Press the palms up towards the ceiling, side bend to the left. Breathing into the outside of the right hip, the right rib cage. And as we come up to center, we're going to open the arms to the left, hips relatively facing the front. Again, gaze or drishti can be straight ahead, or you can rotate the neck to join the twist, looking over the left thumb. Unwinding to the center. Drop the chin to the chest, soften the knees, and roll down through the spine, keeping my tailbone pointing at the floor for as long as possible, really rounding the spine until I have to lift it up. Uttanasana forward bend. There's nothing magic about touching the floor, and we want to let the knees be bent to allow the spine to be long. So keep the options that work for everybody. Planting my hands underneath the shoulders and stepping back to the top of a push-up, high plank. Again, dropping the knees as needed. Breathe here. Long line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. I'm trying to come through chaturanga, so bending the elbows about 90 degrees. Again, drop the knees as needed. And then we'll release the belly and pelvis onto the mat, draw the shoulders back, open chest. If you're using the strength of your back to start opening up the chest a little bit. And then we'll gently press into the hands, coming up into Bhujangasana Cobra. The neck is long and free. You should be able to move it. Shoulder blades pressed down and back, and chest moving forward. One more inhale. Exhale as if you're laying one vertebra at a time onto the mat. You stack the hands and rest the forehead on your stacked hand. 3 breaths here. Relaxing the back of the neck. Bring the crown of the head away from the tail. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. This is Sphinx pose. Chest is open, shoulders relax down and back. So from the Sphinx, bending the right knee and looking over your right shoulder. See if you can see your foot back there. And then gently release both. So bending the left knee and looking for your left foot. Gentle, alternating, looking at one foot and then the other. One more time on each side. And so you may feel the erector spine, the muscles along the spine activate, possibly the hamstring. I guess one more time. Yoga teachers can't count. Hands underneath the shoulders, and we press ourselves back through tabletop, tuck the toes, pick still up and back, down and facing dog. Spreading through the hands, walking ourselves back towards the back of the mat once again. Bent knee, forward bend, release the lower back, relax the back of the neck. You can even take this into a ragdoll position, grabbing opposite elbows. And sway a little from the side to side. Heel toe the feet to the outer edges of the mat, or a little wider if your legs are longer. Hips come down, open chest, malasana, the yogi squat. You bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart if that's available to you. Pressing the elbows to the insides of the knees. Smoothly the breaths in and out through the nose. We're gonna drive into the right heel and press ourselves straight up, most of our weight over the right foot. Come into a little balance tree pose. You might be turned slightly towards the corner, that's fine. 3 breaths here. Inhale, step back into that wide stance and sink down into your squat. Breathe. So coming up out of the squat, mostly driving the weight into the left foot so that we're nice and secure over the left leg. Float the right foot up, tree pose, wherever you like to keep your tree. Low, middle, high, all welcome. And then floating your foot back over, finding the squat one more time. Palms of the hands come to the floor, stretch the backs of the legs, keep the toes turned out. And then bringing the feet back underneath the hips, heel toe, walking our hands to the top of the push-up. Dropping the knees as needed. Breathe here. And we walk our feet towards our hands, Uttasana, forward bend. Rounding through the spine, drop the tailbone. Round like an armadillo and roll up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Shoulders come up, back, and down. Dropping the chin and rolling down through the spine, keeping the tailbone facing the floor for as long as possible. Until you have to lift the tailbone. Uttasana, forward bend. Hands can rest on the shins. Hands might come to the floor. Planting our hand, stepping back to the top of the push-up, long through the spine. Drop the knees if you need to, and bend the elbows about 90 degrees. Chaturanga Dandasana, and then release the pelvis and down to the floor. Hands underneath the shoulders, long neck. Inhale, opening the chest, drawing the shoulder blades back and down, using the strength of your spine, your back muscles. And then press up. Bhujangasana Cobra. The neck is long, shoulders are pressed down. Breathe. One more breath here. And then releasing vertebra by vertebra down to the mat. Stacking the hands and resting the forehead. You're relaxing your back of the neck. can stack our fists to bring the forehead a little bit higher. And then once more, just rest the forehead here, relaxing the back of the neck. Think about the shoulders sliding down and back. Just taking a little bit of pressure off of the muscles that hold up our head, especially if we have forward head posture, neck, neck, whatever. You just relax the deep muscles of the mouth. And release the hands underneath the shoulders this time. Little variation. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Draw the shoulder blades back. Coming up into cobra instead of the sphinx. So you can go back to the sphinx if this feels like too much on your back. You're going to bend the right knee and look at the right foot. And then alternating, nice and slow. So again, if you feel this a lot in your lower back and you don't like it, then I recommend going back to the sphinx variation with the elbows. One more time, each side. Just come back through the center. Release the spine. Just supporting with the hands, bend the knees, windshield wiper, do the legs. Releasing some tension from the lower back. Relaxing the legs down, hands underneath the shoulders, pressing back into a child's pose. You can take the knees wide here, which is my preference. But you can take them directly underneath the belly if you like that better. You're going to press the hips back towards the heels. For some of us, our heels stop directly on the hips. Some of us float. Both are fine. Stretching the arms in front. Resting the forehead onto the mat. And if you feel like your hips are coming up and you're falling on your head, you can stack your hands here and rest the forehead on the hand. You take 10 deep breaths and try to start releasing your lower back a little bit. Pressing into the palms of the hand to walk yourself back towards the heels. Bring the knees together and the feet apart, sitting the hips in between the heels. Vajrasana, the hero's pose. If your hips or pelvis feel like it's floating and it's intense on your quads or the front of your ankles, you can slide a cushion or a block underneath your hips. You want to feel some length in the front of the ankles, some activation in the arch of the foot, and length in the fronts of the thighs. Lengthen through the crown of the head, nice and tall. Smooth, even breaths here. Draw the shoulder blades back, lift the heart. And let gravity do most of the work in this place. And shifting forward, finding that tabletop from the beginning of class. Tuck the toes under, hips up and back, downward facing dog once more. We pull the right knee close to the belly and shift everything forward, stepping on the right foot. If you need to scooch it with your hand or move forward with the toes, that's fine. We're coming into a runner stretch or lunge just for a moment, and then dropping the back knee and the top of the foot onto the mat. Always feel free to cushion your back knee if it's sensitive, walking the hands up onto the right thigh. Hip flexor stretch for the left leg. Draw the shoulders down and back, chest is lifted here. Breathe. Can be quite intense, stretching the hip flexor. If it's possible to relax the pelvis forward and lengthen the thigh and hip flexor, that's great. If you need to back out, that's fine too. 2 more breaths. And then we shift everything back. Straighten this right knee. Flex the foot. And you can rest your hands on the shin and thigh. You may be able to bring your hands to the floor. Or if you have blocks, it's also great to use blocks here. Ardha Manasana, half lying monkey, or half splits. Can you pull the right hip back and the left hip forward just a little to bring them level? Really focusing on the right hand swing. One more deep breath. Bring everything forward, bending this knee, right knee, bring the hands to the inside of the right foot. And I want to rotate through the hips, so I'm turning my knee and toes out to the right a little bit. Let the knee fall open. You're going to start to feel stretch on the inside of the right thigh. These are toes. You can keep your hands on the mat if you feel comfortable dropping one or both elbows here for an intense stretch of the outside of the right hip. That's fine. All variations are welcome. Breathe. Bring back up onto the palms of the hands, put you on your elbows, and rotating this foot back to parallel. Tuck the left toes under and lift the left knee. We plant the hands and step back into downward facing dog. Tread through the feet a few times, bending one knee and then the other. And then the left knee comes close to the belly and chest, and step on the left foot. Coming into the runner stretch, adjusting as needed. We drop the right knee and the top of the foot to the mat and walk ourselves up the left knee. Stretching the right hip flexor. Again, cushioning that back knee as needed. If you have a cushion, if you have a rolled up towel, have at it. Pelvis is dropping forward. Hip flexor stretch. Breathe into the belly. Let your heart, chest lift up. And then shifting the pelvis back. Straighten the left knee. Flex the foot. Hinge forward and hamstring stretch here. Resting your hands on the shin thigh or framing the leg. Fingertips, fists, blocks, or palms. Trying to pull the left hip back a little bit and the right hip forward, squaring the shoulders to the front. Maybe a big hamstring stretch, bend the knees as needed. And shift everything forward. Bend the knee. Rotate through the hip, knee, and toes facing the outer corner of the mat. Bring the hands to the inside and opening the hip slightly. So the knee can just sort of naturally fall open. Doesn't have to be a big movement. Drop into your forearms if that feels good. Bring the palms back up underneath the shoulders. Sole of the foot back onto the floor. Rotate this left leg parallel. Tuck the right toes under, flip the knee. And this time we're just going to bring this left leg back to a tabletop position. And then sit on the heels. Smooth, even breaths in and out through the nose. Thunderbolt, the big toes are touching, knees are touching. Just take a moment to let your neck relax, jaw relax, shoulders soften. Coming to sit similarly to the beginning of class with a V shape. Again, elevating the hips as needed. You want to prevent this shrimpy posture with the spine. So if you need to bend the knees, if you need to lift the pelvis so that your chest can be open, please do that. If you're comfortable to straighten the knees, go for it. I'm going to do the same pattern, reaching up and over to the right. Lengthen through the side of the body. Rotate towards the right leg, and then walk yourself across the middle a little bit more slowly. You might have a bit more range than you did before, coming into the side stretch on the opposite side. And one more time, coming across the center. Side stretch. To the right and then to the left. Inhaling up and out, and coming to any cross-legged position that you like. Sukhasana with the heels close to the body, and the other heel stacked in front. Padmasana, the lotus, Ardha Padmasana, half lotus. If that's in your practice, lengthening the crown of the head away from the tail, shoulder blades down and back, index fingers come to touch. And take a few moments to just observe the natural breath, noticing the movement of your breath in your body. And checking in with the state of your physical body once more. Noticing the sensations in the lower limbs and hips. Changes that may or may not have occurred here. Just noticing. Sensation in the trunk of the body, the spine, abdomen and chest. The upper limbs, neck, head, and the muscles of your face. We practice a breath called the physiological sigh. So we inhale into the belly, a full breath. Feels like you filled your lungs completely. And then you take one more tiny sip of air at the top. Inhale. Exhale through an open mouth. Release out your form. So again, filling the belly with air through the nose. One more sip of air at the top. Exhale through an open mouth. Last one. Inhale into the belly. One more tiny sip. Exhale through an open mouth. Bringing the palms of the hands together in front of the heart, the thumbs lightly touch the sternum, Anjali Mudra. Loka Samasta, Supino Bhavantu, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings everywhere be happy and healthy and free. Peace, peace, peace. And as we bow forward, thumbs touch the eyebrow center. Hari Om Tat Sat, and thank you for practicing with me.